in Caitlin's corner.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Caitlin.
I'm also Caitlin.
Welcome to episode 2 of Kinda Off Topic.
Kinda off topic.
Yeah,
So
it's Caitlin's turn.
this is my turn, and my chosen topic is the game Love in Deep Space. We have attempted this video before, but I
Fucked it up.
kind of fucked it up. But Caitlin has like a pre-knowledge.
I have like a general knowledge.
General knowledge.
Yes.
But we're going to go into the lore.
If this is the first time you have saw one of these Kinda Off Topic videos, we have already posted another video last week where I taught Caitlin about the Star Olympics.
Yes. She taught me a lot about the Star Olympics. It was very... it was actually a really good presentation. I can't lie. It was really good.
Thank you.
This one also took me hours, so...
Yes, I would just like to say this will be a long ass video.
This might be slightly longer than the other one because we are talking like
It will
60
be.
slides. But, okay, let me...
We're just going to get right into it because
We may as well.
it's going to be long.
It's not going to work, Caitlin.
That makes editing for me harder.
This is Love
Just
in
means
Deep...
you're not going to see all these beautiful transitions,
It
but
is
you'll
fine.
see the slides on screen.
Yes. This is Love in Deep Space.
Mhm.
Or Depression, depends, right? Because
Okay.
this is the thing, the actual game does have lots of fun bits and battles and whatever not. You get some spicy scenes and whatnot, but majority of it is depressing. So, are you ready for
Love that for us. Yes,
Cool.
I'm ready.
Disclaimer! There is going to be lots of spoilers in this, so if you are already playing the game and you don't have the cards yet, you don't want to know, do not watch this. Do not. I do not own any of the pictures on this PowerPoint or the videos or whatever, so hats off to whoever that was that made them. There is potential inaccuracies, so you can correct me in the comments. I found the information basically through the wikis, blogs, TikTok videos, their myth cards, everything, so I might have what's the word I'm looking for? Like, in my head, I might theorise it slightly different from what it is, or I have found someone else's idea that might not align with yours, and that's fine. If I've missed anything, you can tell me. If I've got anything wrong, or your own theories, you can also let me know, but I did condense this as much as possible, so it's not going to be super convoluted. And I've not also personally finished every storyline, so I've only got to go on what I know.
Okay.
Right, so that's my disclaimer, right? Might not be 100% accurate or whatever, you might not like my take on it, but this is my take.
Okay.
Right? Some vocabulary to start.
God.
Okay.
Right.
The protagonist of the MC is basically the main character in the storyline. Now, this main character, I kind of chopped and changed. I usually used MC through this for, like, the current storyline, but, like, there's lots of, like, either past or future situations in it, right? Where it's, like, technically a reincarnated version of them, so I used the word protagonist instead to try and differentiate, but they are the same person, different timeline, like, reincarnation. Lincoln City is the main city that takes place, right?
Okay.
So the actual base game takes place in Lincoln. Philos, however, is a planet humans moved to in the future after Earth became inhabitable, because it seems in every game humans are still to blame. Evil is like just like a superpower, okay? So it's like an ability, only like a slight few people have it. Just so happens every guy in person I'm going to mention has one.
Okay.
So like the select few just seems to be everybody.
Okay.
Wanderer is like monster that's manifested. So like if I'm telling you a wanderer, it's like an alien monster thing.
Okay.
These two at the end, right, are slightly similar. So a protocore is kind of like a special gem-like thing, okay? And it's usually like if you fight a wanderer, it's inside them.
Okay.
Right, so you can collect them.
Okay.
And the ether core is more powerful. It's like energy, basically, so it acts as like a life force. So it can be within like a planet, which I'm pretty sure Philos runs off, or like a person. Okay.
Okay, damn. Whatever I read.
Are you any questions?
No, I think I've got it. I might have questions through it though.
To start, this is my MC, by the way. This
Oh.
is her.
She's a bad bitch,
She's a bad bitch, let's be real, right? She's got 5 hot guys after her so far.
True.
She has got an ether core in her heart.
Okay.
And that is quite important for a lot of the storylines.
Okay.
Because a lot comes back to like her heart, right?
Okay.
She's got mad lore with all of them and she hunts wanderers, right? She's a bad bitch, right? We love her. Are you ready? Let's make it hug!
The pictures you chose!
Yeah, I thought I would try and make it as fun as possible. Xavier.
Oh.
Okay, we're going to start with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting with the OG3. Okay?
Okay.
Let's give you some background info.
Oh! I forgot I did that. Mate, how am I going to show these slides without these transitions? Because it's just going to come up like that.
Why don't you just screen record the...
Okay, yes.
You can screen record my
yeah.
presentation.
I'll try and screen record that at the same pace she's shown me it.
Right. He is 23, claimed. But he
Okay,
actually,
claimed. That doesn't
we
sound
don't
good.
know his real age because I think he's like a Back to the Future situation. He's actually from the future.
Right.
So we don't know his age, but he looks about 23. 6'1", so he's a tall
Ooh.
boy. He's a Libra, like myself. Born October 16th, although I'm not a October Libra. He's a deep space hunter, and it said on the wiki that he's self-employed, but I put kind of not, because from what I've understood in the story, he's our colleague under the Hunters Association.
Okay.
So I'm confused there. He has a light power. Personality-wise, he isn't very expressive, like, to begin with.
I thought that said impressive. Sorry.
I mean, if you're not an Xavier girly, maybe. He is quite awkward and his nature quite quirky. He does fall asleep, like, a lot, including one scene I have played and he fell asleep standing up. Yeah, don't know what that's about.
He's me.
Yeah, maybe. He does come across quite, like, cold-ish, but he is, like, he is protective, okay? Maybe the lore will explain why a wee bit. He does give soft boy, but, I mean, we've seen some of his cards. He is a little, he is kind of freaky. I also thought I'd give you just some fun little tidbits on them, right?
Okay.
He is killed around 70,000 wanderers. So he is... I didn't think. Lumiere? He is Lumiere, but he also gets jealous if you like Lumiere more than him.
Okay.
Don't know.
What is Lumiere?
I think that is supposed to be, like... There's a whole legend of Lumiere in the story, right? And he was the one that... Was it he killed the first or something wanderer or something along the lines of that? And she thinks it is Xavier, or however you say that name, but he doesn't like admit it, but he doesn't.
So Lumiere is like a person?
Yes, it's like a mythical myth person, but we think it might be Xavier. So I've put Lumiere because it might be him. He likes to fish, specifically with this old man.
Interesting.
I don't know. He is not great at cooking. He did burn food in one of the scenes.
Fair enough, me too.
He has a mastered swordsmanship, which makes sense because he is like a hunter. He destroys the protocors. Now, these are usually what you collect throughout the game, but literally the first time you meet him, he destroys it. Why? I don't know. There might be links to Silas's group of people.
Okay. Interesting.
He is our colleague and upstairs neighbour, which we don't find out until later on. He lives above us. Like, how do you not know that? He always had perfect exams. He's a smart boy, I guess. And he has skill in piano, okay? So I'm also just to sell her, so like we can find out who her favourite is. The lore. Oh. By the way, this picture's so grainy. It wasn't meant to be like this. But it's, yeah.
4 different transitions on it.
Right, timeline 1.
1?
There's a few.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll get through it, right? It's like a story. So, different version of MC. So, protagonist.
Okay.
Trains with Xavier in an academy on Philos, right? So this is future, because Philos is the future. Okay. Earth is destroyed, it's inhabitable, they've moved. The humans have moved. They're training together in the academy, but protagonist is dying from core syndrome, so it's like a heart condition. Because like I said, she's got an ether core in her heart, right? She needs a new one. She needs something new to try and save her. She also does give him this wee tassel that he keeps with him, I think. I don't know if it's like all the time, but like you can see it here, see this? She gives him this.
Right.
Okay?
Little gift.
Little gift, but it's because she's gonna die. Oh. She's dying.
Death gift.
Yeah. So they do arrange to watch a little meteor shower together.
Aww,
how cute.
That's cute.
He disappears for days, basically, before it. He's gone. He then turns back up to the destination where they're going to see the meteor shower together. He looks fucked. He is dishevelled. He's clearly been through battle. He has a protocore, or an ether core, whatever, for her. To save her. It's too late.
Oh no!
This is the first version he meets of her and falls in love with. She dies in his arms during the meteor.
Oh my god.
And this is the beginning, because he now has made a vow to save her in any timeline, right? He has decided...
It's given lovely winner. I'll love you in every timeline.
Well, yeah, that is the thing. I'll make my comment for here. I'll leave my comment for now.
Okay.
So, timeline 2 is that the next love interest is like another version of the protagonist, right? Because it's like reincarnation kind of vibe, right? She is the queen of Philos. Okay. Not by like royalty. Okay. Because actually, he was the heir. Right. He was the prince and heir to be the king, but he wanted to protect her. He obviously must recognise like her and what her like fate is, and decided to abdicate himself from the throne so that she could, being the queen, you're less likely to get attacked, you're more protected. So it's to protect her, to keep her safe. But around this time, their planet is dying. Philos is dying. It has an ether core in it, and it is going out. Okay, it needs something new, but it's basically gonna blink out, and then there's no energy source to keep the planet going.
Right.
So it just so happens that the ether core it needs to save the planet is inside her. And he needs a different way to save his planet. Because do you think he's going to sacrifice her? No, he ain't. So he forms a group called the Backtrackers, right? This is when it's going to make more sense, right? They are planning to go back in time to see if there's a way that they can save Earth, make it more viable, so he can move people back.
Right.
So, like, you don't need to kill her to keep a planet you can live on, right?
Okay.
Are you on board?
I think so. I think so.
So, they travel way too far back and get stuck. We're talking 214 years back, right? He's stuck. They try to fix their spaceship. They can't. They are stuck in current day, which just so happens to still be... It is Earth, right? They are on Earth. But it's, like, way before anything else, so they can't get back. It doesn't help that around this time, there's, like, a rip in, like, the time-space, like... like, what do you call that? Like,
continuum?
Yeah, kinda. This is when wanderers start popping up, right? And it just so happens well that Xavier's teammates are beginning to lose their fucking sanity. They're going insane. They're turning into wanderers. And they want to go after, well, guess what? It's 214 years in the past. Our version that we play as. They want to go after her.
Okay.
He's like, no. So he does kill them. This is where I think it crosses over into the main story, because he is now protecting her. Right? He is now killing them. Because they need an ether core to save themselves. Wanderers, that's basically... I don't know if that is their entire, like, motive. But they are obviously, like, they attack people. And I don't know if it's because they are trying to get, like, an ether core to save themselves.
Okay.
But he kills them. He's like, nope, not happening. And he does need to try and find a way of disconnecting this core from her heart without killing her. But he's working on it. He's working on it, people, right? He's trying. He's trying. He's there with Jeremiah, who just happens to be one of the ones that don't turn into wanderers. He kind of joins them. I think we are introduced to him in the actual game. I've not got to that yet, though. But he does declare to Jeremiah that he's fallen now for the current protagonist. He's not going to get back to his current queen. He's left her behind.
Fuck her.
Yeah, basically, fuck her, there's a new girl in town. He can't get back to her, so he allows himself to fall in love with the current one, right? His time on Earth is limited because as more wanderers are, like, appearing due to that's the rip in the time-space fabric, right? It's called the Deep Space Tunnel. There's a rip in it, that's why all these wanderers are attacking Earth. It's becoming slightly more uninhabitable, and he's running out because humans are going to leave soon to go to Philos. Because he went back in time, remember they moved?
To stop them going there? Or, like, to make it better?
No, like, Earth is, like, remember what I said, like, Earth, when he was, he's from a planet, he must have been born there when Earth was, like, a thing of the past.
Right.
It became inhabitable, people moved there, then he came about, whatever, but he went back in time to save Earth. But now, people are preparing to leave. This is before he was born, technically.
Right.
It's a time loop.
Okay.
He basically went back to before the people are ready to leave for Philos, but he knows what's in store for that. So he's like... He's in a situation, let's be real, right? He is in a situation. I believe, if I'm right, we go into the current timeline, right? So this is now current day.
Okay.
How we meet him. I say we, right? I'm going to say we as in, like, the player that you play as if you play the game. The MC, main character, she finds him in an abandoned warehouse, right?
That is the only scene I've saw.
Yeah. He is presumed injured. The boy is just asleep. With fucking wanderers around my head. He's just asleep. And she's like, oh fuck, this boy is dead or injured or something. Am I allowed to say dead?
Yeah.
Right. We should probably call for backup. But he stops her. He's like, no, we're not doing that. There's also wanderers about it. They might hear you, like, we can't do this. So they fight the fucking wanderers, right? They win, of course. Of course they do. I mean, if they died, that would be a very short story. But he acts really shady. And he's like, do not reveal my identity or that you met me here or that you know me. Like, just don't.
Okay.
Like, red flag, kind of, but like, whatever.
Red flag.
He destroys the protocore right then and there and disappears, and she's like, what the fuck? We then run into him again in a forest. So I think she was meant to meet her partner for this job that didn't turn up. So she went, I'm going into this dodgy forest by myself, and then he's there trying to tame this weird like dragon wanderer thing. And he's destroying more protocores, and like they're having more epic battles, but he also doesn't trust her. He kind of traps her there because he thinks that she's the enemy, then realises, oh wait, we're actually in the same team. Right, so then he's chill with us somewhat, but we still don't understand why this man is destroying the thing that we need. Why is he doing this? And that's the question. I don't 100% know. I think I'll get back to that. Again, meet him at a train station. Like, we're running into him. Like, he is technically our colleague, so like we do hunts with him, but it's quite bare. Like, I feel like they lose contact quite quickly. We find him at a train station again. They get stuck in this weird, like, I don't know if this is foreshadowing, this like time loop wanderer situation through the glass, where like they're on a train station, it keeps going back through like the same stops.
Okay.
They have to fight that. They win, whatever. She does take him for a meal after that, and that's when she has heard about the myth of Lumiere, and she brings it up to him. She's like, are you Lumiere? And he's like,
And being very shady about it.
Who's Lumiere? He's just a myth. He doesn't exist. And she's like, bitch, please. Finds out that that's her next or upstairs neighbour, but also she is planning to go to the N109 zone, which is Sylus's area. It's like, if you think about it, this main city is like a city. N109 zone's like the dangerous bit where like rules don't really apply. It's like a different world. Anarchy, right? She's going to this dangerous place. He gives her some tips. He also might have links there, because they say that Lumiere's linked to that zone, and that might be him. He's acting shady about it, but he does give her some heads up, and that's all I know of his story so far.
Okay.
Right, so this is where we're at with him right now. He's basically just our colleague and neighbour, but whatever, right? More pictures.
Oh,
there's more pictures.
He's so
of him.
cute though.
He is cute. He is sweet.
He's giving soft boy.
He does give soft boy, but he's a freaky fuck. Next one, this was a wee bit more depressing, if I'm being honest.
Oh god.
Right? Of the original three, my favourite, Zayne.
Also my favourite. Can I just say, oh my god, can I just say, the one day Caitlin texted me and she was like, I'm going to send you 5 pictures of me, please just pick one, and this is who I picked.
Yeah. So he is like, okay, actually, I mean, we're going to know it anyway. He's 27, so he's a little older.
Who?
Still 6'1", so hell
He's
yeah.
a Virgo?
He's a Virgo.
Damn,
He's born
bro.
September 5th, he's a Virgo.
I love Virgos.
He's a cardiac surgeon at AK, I don't know if that's AXO or AKSO hospital, but yeah, he is he's like a prestigious one. Like, he's like the best of the best, right? His powers is ice, which kind of makes sense when
Okay,
you
Elsa. Sorry.
His personality, he is quite level-headed and stoic, like when you go through it. Like, he's very committed to the job. He's professional, he's competent, he's respected a lot, but he can be quite affectionate and playful from time to time, like a wee bit playful, especially with MC. Like, see when she's acting silly, like he does.
That's the best type.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I love Zayne. Zayne is great. Not my favourite though. We'll get to that. I do want to know your favourites though. So if you play the game, let me know what girly you are. I'm torn. So he does spend most of his time working, but he likes that. He likes being kept busy. He's not complaining about the fact that he works all the time. He enjoys it. He is good at snowboarding.
That's random.
Yeah, I know. It's because it's like little things you find out through the game. He can draw.
Oh.
So he's a good artist. He can't resist sweet desserts. Now he's a slut for sweets, right?
Honestly.
He also complains a lot about toothache, so he's a doctor, but clearly he's not a dentist. Do you know what I mean? He does not drink. Can
I just quickly say, I'm sorry if you can hear Caitlin's ball in the back.
I'm so sorry if you can hear him. He's playing a game, so he's a bit expressive. But no, he's an extreme lightweight. From the one scene with one liqueur chocolate that got him pissed.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's good at playing pool. We love that. He is MC's primary care physician.
Okay.
Physician, I can't say that word. They go back to childhood together, so they do know each other from previous. He hates carrots, right? This is a big thing. He hates carrots.
Me and him both.
The devil. Do you hate carrots?
I hate carrots.
Fair enough, you're on the same page. And of course, he aced all the exams and skipped several years in school. Right?
Whoa.
Which is kind of sad though, because it does say in it that he didn't make many friends because he was a lot younger than everyone. Also, one little thing I put in here was quite cute. He knows how to braid hair because he braids the wee girls' hair in the wards. He learned with them.
That's so cute.
He's so... I can't make it 3. Right, the lore. And this one's only got one transition.
Okay.
Timeline 1. Right? Zayne is known as the Foreseer, right?
Okay.
So, he resides in this thing called the Tower of Thorns. Resides. He's trapped, but we'll get to that. He's like in a mystery for Astra. Very important character because there's some theories, but we'll get to the
What
end.
does a mystery mean?
A mystery, so I guess it's kind of like a second-hand man, or like looks after things, because Astra is the god of disaster, right?
Okay.
Now, I don't get too hung up on the mystery thing, because he's more his prisoner,
Right,
but
okay.
he is believed to be
It's
this,
kind of
right?
like the Rhysand situation in Cocktails and Roses.
But with the Camarantha?
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Right,
I
okay.
would say that is quite close. Yeah. Once every 100 years, a royal envoy will travel to hear his prophecy, right?
Okay.
Because I guess he's seen as this, like, I don't know the word I'm trying to find, though, but you know what I mean. But they've been disappearing. They don't return from this tower, right?
Okay.
They go to talk to him and just never come back. The Foreseer meets our alternative version of the MC, so, like, in this timeline, his version of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
She is pretending to be a royal envoy to hear his prophecy. No, she actually wants to steal, like, a protocol that's in his scepter. And when she gets there, he is, like, frozen.
What is a scepter?
So it's like, a scepter's like a big kind of wand thing, right? So
Right.
it's like a wand.
Right.
And then, like, there's a protocol in the middle. She wants that. He seems frozen, like, almost like asleep kind of situation. So she's going to go take it. He's encased in ice. And he's unresponsive until she grabs it, and then he wakes the fuck up, and he's like, no, he freezes her temporarily, like, what the fuck are you
Oh my
doing?
god.
The reason she is taking it is because she's dying. She needs
She's
it.
fucking dying every
Yeah,
time.
this is the thing, like, I feel like they're all trying to save her, right?
Right.
Because that's what I mean, it's depression, right? Yeah, but he makes a deal with her. He does say, like, within the tower, and there's a big, like, connection between her and, like, the flower jasmine. But he did say, if she can make it bloom in the tower, she'll leave with her life.
Okay.
So right now he's been a wee bit of a dick. But she stays within the tower for an extended period. They do eventually kind of warm up to each other, and he reveals that his actual name's Zayne.
Okay.
Okay, so his name's always Zayne, by the way, in all of these. She comes across a book that he's reading. This is what I mean, like, there is kind of like magical elements to it. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, everything doesn't make sense. But it's called Philos Floral Inquiry. She transports herself into this book.
Whoa, okay.
How does that happen? I don't know. But she finds all these jasmine buds, and she learns that each of them are actually his memories. He doesn't. They're his memories. And it is also revealed that Astra has been the one preventing Zayne from leaving the tower. Okay, he has imprisoned him. Because he's using the protocol that's inside his thing to restrain him, and if he moves, he's injured with brambles. So he's stuck.
Whoa.
Man is stuck. Zayne then realises as the jasmines bloom, because she does manage to make it happen, that it represents the different alternative versions of her he's already met.
Whoa. Okay.
But when he falls in love with her, each time he has to watch her die. Each time he watches her die. And Astra then manipulates him and warps these different versions to the point he forgets. So he's meeting her, she dies, he forgets, he meets her again, she dies, he forgets.
No!
This is like a continuous thing. But this realisation does lead to Zayne. Basically what he does is he gives the protocol, which is Astra's power, to her to save her. This does lead to his demise.
Oh
though.
god. Why can't they be happy?
I know, this is the thing, you're just never happy. But along with the tower and the protocol, everything kind of just goes... Yeah. As he does slip away, he does give her a kiss and claims that he'll never forget her, which is a sin because he will. Like, that is his whole thing, is that he will forget her continuously. This is the thing I think even comes into, like, main storyline. This is, like, his... What's the, like, fate, right? Timeline 2 is slightly less... Is it? Less depressing. He's the master of fate in this one.
Okay.
He's residing in, like, a forest on the mountain, right? He's very isolated, doesn't really get involved. I think he only really comes out into the city, like, once a year.
Okay.
Right? He's pretty much, like... He just spends his time under this tree. Copying
Fair enough.
bamboo, which I don't know what copying bamboo slips means, but whatever it is, that's what he's doing. So he lives a solitary life, right? He doesn't really care. He meets the version of his love interest, obviously, the protagonist in this one, when she notices a sheep. But this sheep is like one that specifically only stays around divine entities, which must be him, but it's injured and she tries to heal it.
Oh.
So they meet, Because she lives alone in the forest too, which, by the way, how do they never run at each other if they both live in this forest? But she's ostracised from the village, right? Her power is too unstable.
Right.
It's not like she's making that happen. She can't control it. So they've basically went, forest. They went, bye.
Bye.
Leave. He does try to train her. He's trying to help her. He's trying to train her to wield and control her powers, even though it's becoming like increasingly more dangerous. And he realizes that their time is short. Like, where did I leave? I have lost where I was. Yeah, their time is short. Is the protagonist is a variable that will only bring disaster, right?
Okay.
That is what she's basically. That's her fate. And it's his job, actually, to remove her from existence to keep everybody safe. Is he going to do that for her, though? Is he going to kill her? No. So, he has fell in love with her, but he cannot bring himself to kill her.
Okay.
So, what does he do? He sets her a task to create 100 umbrellas under the guise that they'll be used to seal something dangerous away. What could that be? Once she actually manages to finish that task, he, uses his ice or something to, I don't know how he uses it, it kills him in the process, but it almost turns it to snow, kind of.
Okay, yeah.
And he places her under a deep sleep, right, while this happens, because he doesn't want to know that she's dead. Well, no, she doesn't want her to know that he's dead.
Right.
And he's done this for her, so she's cryogenially frozen, or just think Sleeping Beauty, put to sleep, right? She's in a slumber. He's done this, and so, he did say, before she goes, as long as the snow in this umbrella doesn't melt, she doesn't have to be afraid.
Oh, yeah.
She does eventually awaken, though. He's gone. He's dead. But she doesn't know that, so she just takes her umbrella and goes searching for him. That is the end of that. We don't know what happens after that. Well, obviously, I'm assuming she must find out eventually that he is.
Yeah.
But the current timelines, which brings us back full circle to now. He is her primary care physician, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
He generally does act quite cold, but he does care for her. He also reprimands her for her job, because obviously she's got a very dangerous job, and he does care, he just doesn't want to show it too much. So he's trying to act all doctor, oh, as your doctor, I'm concerned. You love her, let's be real, mate. You're scared she's going to hurt herself. They do bump into each other on the way to, this mission. She's investigating, wander activity, and he's attending to a patient or something that actually lives there. The patient's experiencing, delusions and hallucinations. This is because of Raphael, by the way. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But if you don't know who Raphael is, if you're learning for the first time, we'll get to him next. But his paintings are a potential wonder effect. They are somehow making their way through this painting, right? And you'll find out why, right? You will find out why. Later on in the story, because, they're not always there consistently through the story. You get, different ones with different people. So, he hasn't been there for a while. Her house explodes. And that kind of kills off her grandmother and Caleb. Well,
I remember this scene happening because I was watching a show when Kaelin was reading this scene.
But Zayne does comfort her, or at least tries to. He's a wee bit awkward in the way he does it. But he does give her a document that reveals that her grandmother, because it's not her grandmother, it was adoptive. I have my own theories on the grandmother. She was actually a research overseer, and basically had been doing all this stuff on ether cores, and our character was the test subject. So whether the grandmother took her and Caleb in as pity because she's doing all these experiments on them, or if she just wanted to keep them around to do the experiments on them, we're not sure. But point is, she's linked to somehow the experiments that happened on her as a kid. So MC's I'm going to go ask my previous doctor, which just so happens to be his mentor. So she goes out to the Arctic. She meets him at the train station. They're both going to the same place, and they're right, okay, well, if we're going to the same place, go together then.
Yeah.
They do go out. They meet the other guy. She's asking questions. He doesn't give her any information. So they basically just stay there. They watch the Aurora Borealis together, though. Which is can you think about it more romantic than that? And later on, when turns out someone's not dead, we'll get to that. She does meet him in Skyhaven, and they try to investigate together, but some stuff goes down due to another love interest we'll mention, and he tells her not to beat herself up about it, and says that when they go back, he will treat her to a little dinner and some desserts and whatnot, because he is perfect, right? We love him. Zayne honestly has a better lore than Xavier, personally, in my opinion. But the next one took me by surprise.
Okay.
It's your boy, Raphael. I'm assuming there's going to be a... Yeah.
Damn, bro.
So, he's 23.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the youngest then? He's one of the youngest. Him.
Perfect age.
Perfect age. He is the smallest. He's 6 foot.
Oh,
Which, I mean,
love
I say
baby.
smallest. He is a Pisces. His birthday is in 6 days.
Yay.
March 6th.
Happy birthday.
From when we're recording this.
Yeah.
He is a famous artist. I should have put famous. He is a
Ooh.
very well-renowned artist from his own studio that he made, which is Mo Art Studio. His Evil is Fire, which
Interesting.
confused me because you'll find out why it confused me.
Okay.
But his personality, he is very like friendly, carefree. He's a bit clingy and childish at times, but he's very sassy, right? So
Okay.
he is quite a fun character. We like Raphael. He's a Lemurian. If you don't know what a Lemurian is, let me explain.
Yeah, I don't.
Mermaid, merfolk, right? Makes it really easy. It's just,
But he's evil with fire?
that's what I'm saying. I
Okay.
was confused, but yeah.
Okay.
He lives in a studio.
Okay.
He always buys like weird like trinkets for inspiration because he's an artist. Like he'll just like see something random, like yeah, like that. He also uses the colours in his art depending on how he feels, which also makes sense as to the thing I told you before about the painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Okay.
We'll get to. He's really bad at riding bicycles.
Me too.
Really? I haven't rode one in a long time, to be
I used
fair.
to love riding bikes, but I'm bad at it.
He won't admit it, but he's terrified of cats. Is it because he's part fish? Probably.
Maybe.
He hates cats.
Probably.
He can play harmonica though, and I think harmonica's really pretty. Like, for all
Yeah.
instruments, he can drink well. Unlike Zayne. Unlike Zayne. One chocolate liqueur won't have him.
Good at photography.
He's good at photography.
I love it.
I mean, he's artistic, you know what I mean? His Lemurian eyes can disseminate up to 300 million colours. So maybe that's why
Whoa.
he's so good as an artist. He is very impatient when waiting on someone. That makes sense with the story, right?
Okay.
He was once caught in a storm and got stranded, but luckily he was rescued. Who by?
MC?
And he can speak many... Yeah, MC. And he can speak many languages, obviously.
Ooh, affluent man.
So, the pictures are
Lower.
so grainy, it upsets me. Okay,
Whoa.
you appreciate it in the view.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Raphael was the god of the sea, right? He's the god. So it's like an underwater civilization, which is similar to like mermaids and merfolk, right? The protagonist is set to be sacrificed to the god of the sea. Yes, she is sacrificed by like his extreme human followers, right? So he hasn't actually wanting this to happen, but like
Okay.
they're insane. So she's taken aboard a ship and literally taken out as a sacrifice.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But luckily a storm hits, well luckily kinda.
Woo.
She falls overboard into the sea.
Luckily.
He just so happens to be in the area and he witnesses this. Like he sees this and like she's like pleading for help. Like she sees him, she's like pleading for his help and he's like, what the fuck? No. He's
Nah,
like,
bruv, I'm good.
Not my problem. But she remembers an old tale. Might be true, might not be true, but she tries it. She catches him off guard and kisses him in order to be able to breathe under the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like a tale, but this also is like, it marks an oath for Raphael and his people. Like if you do that, then like, you're making an oath to him.
Mm-hmm.
So, he basically chooses her to be his devout follower.
Okay.
Basically just, I don't know how else to put that.
Basically, it's a cult.
Basically it's a cult. Meaning, but it basically means that she has to be like, she has to stay with him during like the sea god ceremonies and the temple, and if he, was it he, oh yeah, she gifts him her heart to protect Muria. That is the way it's supposed to be. She's supposed to gift him his heart. Keep that in mind. She's meant to give him her heart.
Okay.
You can see where that's going. Anyway, he's also bound to then never go against her wishes or her commands, or the oath will be broken.
Okay.
So if they want to remain bound together, he has to basically do what she wants. Which I think that's quite funny.
Yeah, that is.
Yes, man, you do what I want. They just continue to bond, really. They do actually end up caring for for each other, and he, on her command, goes and visits the surface. He does tell her she doesn't have to stay bound to him. Like just because he needs a follower doesn't have to be her. She can leave. She can go back to land, but she, like on her own accord, was like, "I'm staying with you." So she makes the decision to stay with him. She insists, making her choice. It's about here that we can assume that she became his like beloved bride, right?
Okay.
So the one that Raphael has chosen in this timeline is them. They're meant to be married. So then comes the sea god ceremony. It's set to begin after thousands of years, right? He's finally found his woman. And as they enter the temple, they exchange their vows. They break a fucking oath because as it descends into turmoil, because Raphael was meant to take her heart, but instead he gives her his. And that then betrays like their entire like underwater civilization and angers the deep sea. So,
oh god.
Have I got any more on that? That's where that ended, by the way.
Okay.
So whatever you want to make of it, but I think his is the most continuous because it doesn't feel like it's like. I think he's the one that it's not like different lives he's living. I think his is continuous. I think he's genuinely that old because he's a god, right? Because this one also kind of feels like a sequel.
Okay.
Like it's a continuous thing. The new version of MC is the Princess of Philos. Right, so again, it's all happening on this new planet. But it's not because she's royalty, but it's because she has a special heart. Is it because that heart belongs to the sea that he gave her in a previous life? Maybe. But yeah, basically, well, I'm trying to find out where I'm at. Yeah, it gives the people immortality. Right, her heart is giving the people of Philos immortality because it's fucking for the Lemurians. It's not for the humans. But she disguises herself as her maid Natasha, and she likes to go escape and I don't know, get away from her imprisonment and explore. And she does go to the sea a lot. Why does she keep going to the sea, you may ask? I wonder if there's a link there. There's a bound somewhere. But she does fall down a fucking stream this time. And she's saved by this version of Raphael. It's called the Abyss Walker. Raphael, right?
Fair enough.
They share their introduction. She basically explains to him about her special heart. Not that he doesn't know. He's like, oh, I recognise you.
She's really on this theory right here.
I'm on this theory. He definitely must be like, I know who you are, but you introduce yourself anyway, right? Pretend you don't know me and I don't know you. She does express to him that she has never got to see the city before. And he's like, I will grant that wish for you. Funny how he's still doing her commands. I'm just saying. Before they return to the palace, basically. But she does remember a young Lemurian that she was given and enslaved by humans. So this is the thing. Lemurians are now enslaved by humans and given as gifts. She was like, she got one for her birthday. She's like, nah, I'm freeing this dude. Like, this is cruel. Although one interesting fact I didn't put down here, but I did learn, is that because of who Raphael is, he can't be like unwillingly taken, which means that he must have gave himself up to meet her.
Yeah.
And then she was like, get the fuck out. Go live, go be free. He's like, are you kidding me, dude? Raphael does ask her to come with her, but it is her like coming of age thing. I don't know. But he does vow to come back for her, right? He vows to come back for her. And she does wake up and there's like an arrow outside her window with a note from him, basically him asking to meet her. And she's like, I'm kind of busy with this coming of age ceremony, but wait for me. She leaves a note being like, wait for me, right? We will meet. She is warned by her chambermaid, or whatever that is. I'm assuming it's like a maid situation. Yeah. Her maid does go to her and is like, be careful of that kind, because there's a lot of assassinations going on, and we think they're to blame.
Oh,
of
God.
course, why would you ever blame humans? When do humans ever blame humans? They're the suspected culprits or whatever, but she's like, fuck off. Anyway, she gets to her room later and she does find Raphael waiting for her, and he gives her this like fishtail beacon thing, and I think it's supposed to glow, and it means that it'll connect them no matter where she is. He'll come find her, right? Because that's how cute is that? How cute is that?
Where's mine?
Where's mine? They do eventually have, like, they escape the night together. He takes her to the desert ruins. Now, this desert ruins is where the sea used to be before it dried up.
I see.
Which is probably what happened when he gave him her heart. So, when he gave her his heart. I can't English. But then, like, again, as promised, he returns her to her palace each night, making sure that she's safe. And I think this must just be, like, his friend or, like, someone who works with him. His name's Amund. I don't actually know who this is, but, yeah. He does remind her, like, not to forget that the protagonist has betrayed him and has stolen the sea heart, like, the god sea heart, which he must, like, if he does, remember he's like, well, that's just not true. So he gave her that willingly. They continue to keep meeting up and visiting the sand ruins, and Raphael expresses his desire to, like, reawaken the sea, right? He wants to restore the homeland, taking her to, like, the tomb of it, like the tomb of the sea god. Do you know what a tomb is?
No, but
It's like I think it's like an ancient, like, sculpture kind of situation. Like maybe it's like a statue or something.
right.
She's beginning to feel this place is kind of familiar. Like, she's had dreamed of it a few times. Why is that? Why is she now? Because technically this is a different person. So how is she recognizing all this? He uses his version of the fishtail beacon, right? It's kind of like a weird, like, blood-bound thing. Like, cuts their hands, they, like, thingy their blood on it, right? It lights up, I believe, yeah. And it reads the prophecy. When the god of the sea is revived, the seas will awaken. To reclaim what was lost, the god of the sea must kill his beloved. Ooh. He must kill her. Ooh. She realises that this special heart that she's got is that. It's the god of the sea. And if it's not returned, then apparently it's like the fire will fade and eternal slumber awaits him. So he's going to die.
Whoa.
She realises that, and she's like, she's now recalling her past life. And she remembers that he is the sea god, basically, and he gifted her the heart. So she takes his hand and she holds the dagger, she points it to her chest, and she's like, I'll give you this back, right? You can take this. She's like, she's ready to be like, I'm out, you won. But he's like, nah,
I'm good.
Nah, I don't want you to die, actually. You know what's going to happen instead? I'm going to try and change this prophecy. So for now, what I'm going to do is, before you can, like, argue with me, I'm just going to wipe your memory completely. So you're going to forget me and everything to do with me. And then he returns her to the palace, right? So basically, he's just wiped her memory. He's like, you're not going to know any of this. The days pass, but she constantly feels like she's forgetting something. What could that be, potentially? But it's, like, something important. Like, she's always like, what am I forgetting? Right? The king announces a plan that he's going to now capture all Lemurians, and that triggers her memory, and then she remembers him. She's like, oh, fuck him, that's right. So she takes that fishtail beacon he gave her, and she escapes to find him. He's getting ready to leave with this, like, friend, Amund or whatever. Like, they're going to go find another way to awaken the sea. What is this bit? Yeah. If he doesn't take... But, like, Amund keeps saying to him, like, if you're not going to take that woman's heart, you're going to die. And he's like, we'll find another way. It's fine. But then his thingies begin to glow. Why is that? And it ends with her running over to him and making her decision. She's going to help him and go wherever he goes. She's escaped. I love his fucking... I love it. There's also a flashback. And I think this might be, like, the actual... like, our current MC. I think this is a flashback to when they were younger. Okay, well, I don't know how much younger, by the way. Like, it did not say an age, so think about what you will. But it's a flashback. Because also he says that he was younger, so maybe it's, like, younger than what he is when we meet him.
Right, okay.
But he was stranded on the shore. And he's in his fucking merman form. Like, that can't be more obvious. It's due to a tsunami, basically. And it says it's saved by a different version of the protagonist, but I don't know if it is. It's up to your own, make your own theories or whatever. Yeah. But she finds him and she's like trying to help him. She says that she likes his scales, which is basically another Lemurian way of saying, I like you. And he reminds her, he's like, you do know in my world that means you want me, right? Like, that's what that means. They do decide to form a kind of bond, but they bond for life. So he's now bound to her. So they make the promise that they're going to meet again. Next year, same time. He's going to wait. Remember I said he doesn't like waiting? Yeah. Maybe this is why he doesn't like waiting. Because the next year comes around, and it turns out that the MC, the protagonist, who whatever timeline of her it is, doesn't show up. Why, though? Like, it's not her fault. She contracts horrible fever, and it actually makes her memory kind of blanked out, so she can't remember that she was meant to meet him. And it is, like, said, or speculated, when they talk, that he did go there every single year, but he denies it to her, because, like, she does ask, he's like, do you go every year? And he was like, nah, I wouldn't do that, but, like, it is speculated that he went back every year waiting for her to come. But she didn't.
Don't cry.
Don't cry. Not yet.
Not yet!
Later, the humans did declare war on their kind. Why are we doing this? Like, this this is why I hate humans, right? Again, they are being enslaved and killed because their blood is valuable because they're immortal. This is why I think Raphael doesn't have different versions of him. I think it's the same version of him throughout.
Because he's immortal.
He's immortal. He can't die. Okay. So that's what, like, his kind are being killed for their immortality, basically, because human stuff, you know. But she has, like, a dream, and, like, the protagonist has a dream, and she's, like, this, like, witch called the Witch of the Abyss, right? So she's a witch in it, and Raphael comes to her asking for her help for a magic potion to turn him into a human, right? So he can be with the girl he fell in love with. Like, that's the thing. It's her, but he doesn't, like, she doesn't remember it's her. She doesn't know that it's her he's talking about. Mm-hmm. He's obviously, like, being obvious, like, I fell in love with a girl, I want to be with her.
Being obvious.
I fell in love with a girl, I want to be with her. She's like, who's that? Who could that be? But he does give her the potion instead, turning her human and helping her remember everything. This is just a flashback. Right. So I'm not sure if this is, like, a different timeline version of her or if this is, like, the same.
Right.
No idea. But it was called a flashback. Which brings us to today. They eventually, like, they briefly meet each other. Like, she's playing, like, this weird, like, kids game where they have to, like, catch a fish or whatever. He just comes over, he's like, there you go, love. Because he's, you know, Raphael. Yeah. But he does fool her into he fools her into believing that he's just a tourist in Lincoln. Maybe it's because of who he knows she's about to be or important to her, or it could just be the fact he is a famous artist, so maybe he's trying to, like, act like you don't know me. She does advise him. She's like, maybe you should stay away from this place because she thinks it's a tourist, like, you should leave because there's a lot of wanderers. But he just walks off. He's like, he doesn't even say bye, he just walks off. The next time we meet him, he's in his studio because she's investigating a painting he made which was able to create hallucinations. There's a reason he did this, and this is actually showing that he's a little bit more dangerous than what you think. So he's still got this spite towards humans for what they did. He's using, like, some, like, mad, like, coral red stuff, and he's put it in his paintings, and that is meant to cause hallucinations to make humans go insane and themselves. Oh! So he's still spiteful. He's like, you fucked my kind, I'm going to fuck you up, right? And honestly, I kind of respect it. Fair's fair, right? Fair's fair more. They fight a wanderer in his home because obviously he's making these paintings and it makes it, like, an easier thing for wanderers to enter, so they fight it. He hires her as a bodyguard. I think that's just an excuse so he can get like, closer to her. He's like, you're now my bodyguard. And she was like,
protect me.
I will do that on the condition that he helps her get closer to this mystery surrounding the coral stone, which is what he's using to make hallucinations and mind-altering properties. He's not told her that it's him. He's the one doing this. So she's like, can you help me figure this out? And he's like, yeah, sure. Let me help you with this mystery. They then set off later on to, like, Hat Island. It's just like an island. They're supposed to collect, like, protocars for a painting. Like, it's part of the mystery because he's still not telling her the truth. They end up capsizing in the boat there. And they get stuck on a fucking island for ages. This is also, like, a funny scene because, like, they do come across this cat and he's acting like
he's scared of cats.
He's terrified of cats. He's trying to act like he's not. But there's an interesting bit to the end of that scene where there is a big one, like a boss wanderer, right? We're talking boss, right? It's a sea dragon, right? Okay. He tells her to stay back. He's gonna fight it under the water, right? But she obviously doesn't know that he is the fucking sea of, like, the god of the sea or whatever. Poseidon. So he goes under and fights it. She doesn't fucking listen because MC never listens. This is the thing that annoys me. She's always like, I'll fight it. So she tries and passes out in the water. So he has to transform into his sea god version to fucking save her while he's unconscious, and I think that's where it kind of stops. So I'm assuming she's passed out so she doesn't know who he is. But, like, bitch, why didn't you just stay on land? Let the dude that's a fish deal with that. No. So that's Raph. That's Raph, right?
Yeah.
Just wave. Hello. Next, we have Sylus. Now, his is heartbreaking.
Oh, God.
And I mean, people will talk about all the other ones and say they broke their hearts. His myth story truly makes people cry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And by the way, this isn't the full I've like really densed it down, so there's a lot missing, but Sylus, let's get to him.
The hottie! The hottie with the body.
My favourite, but he's kind of... I'm torn between him and Caleb now. We'll just let them fight it out until one of them eventually takes me. But right now, he is one of them. He's 28. He's slightly older. I don't care. He's 6'2". His birthday's
He's an
April
Aries.
18th. His birthday is like day before Luke's. He is the leader of On a Kindness. It's a group, right?
Okay.
It's more like they do like shady business, right? He's a shady businessman. He's like a mafia dude, right? Think Wattpad mafia boss. That's who we're talking about here. His power's energy manipulation.
Ooh.
It's always kind of in the form of like weird like mist,
Okay.
right? His personality, I'm not gonna lie, he seems quite unpleasant. He's very arrogant, confident in himself. He doesn't really take anyone seriously or see him as a threat. You know, they're beneath him.
Just how
He's
type.
yeah.
I'll know in real life.
He's very smug. He can be a bit cruel. He's sarcastic, which I love. He is very dangerous. He does have a soft spot though for her, but only her. Like, he does not show a soft side of himself, but he does kind of own up to her.
Let's give him Wattpad.
He has like 12 plus armories around the world, right? Yeah,
Whoa.
he doing business. He's a businessman.
Damn.
He can get injured and bleed, but he can heal himself, so it's like it doesn't really affect
Okay.
him. He does not give a fuck for threats. They don't phase him. He has zero patience for things that bore him. Although he's not a vampire, I don't think he is. I don't think he's a vampire, but he doesn't like the sunlight. It seems to irritate him, so he actually...
Every single time I come to Caitlin's house, our curtains are shut. Every single time.
Right. You know what, actually? I get that. But like, he has a really fucked up sleep schedule because they gave like...
So do you.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He's like up all night and sleeps during the day, basically. He does not want
Fair.
to be in the sunlight.
Fair.
He's skilled in horseback riding. I don't know how this came up, but like, fair enough, good for him. He has an ether core in his eye.
Ooh.
His eye's important a lot in
Okay.
this, so like, there's always links. He can play the organ, which is also important to the story. I didn't write it in, but whatever, if you want to know, I'll tell you later. He did almost lose his life in a desert. Desert? No, desert.
He's like, bye.
He lost himself in a chocolate brownie. But not short. I'm going to be short. I'm not proofing this.
I don't local shiver. The way to say
Is that also? Is that how you spelled it? Must
I don't think so.
Right, he's lost in the desert, and a local showed up. Showed him the way to say the
Oh my god.
He also collects vinyls. He likes his little
Lovely.
trinkets. He likes his little trinkets. He's also a boxer, right? And he does occasionally do like underground boxing, right? Because that's how he's fit, right?
Someone take this man a Wattpad story, come on.
I think he's probably already in them, let's be
That's
real.
true.
This is very long. But I don't think he has another timeline. Right, I'm going to say this now. I'm going off one of his myths. I'm aware there's a second one, but I couldn't be asked.
Fair enough.
So, if you're about to tell me, oh, he has another myth and the grasslands and everything, I get that, but this was the more important one in my eyes, and it was late when I done this, so I was like, we're doing this and that's it. Lore. Okay. The last dragon was said to have been sealed away, or killed or whatever, but, okay, I don't know if it's actually about, like, 1600 or 16,000, so it changes in chops. Whatever's the right answer, just insert that, right? Point is, thousands of years ago, from Philos, the dragon is Sylus. This is him in his dragon form, by the way. Well, not his actual dragon form, but like...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, right. The protagonist is a sorceress. She's been sentenced to death, but she does manage to kind of escape with her life, but how? She makes a deal with him. Because as she... Like, time almost slows down as she's trying to escape, and she hears a dragon's voice, which is Sylus.
Ooh.
By the way, can I just say, like, throughout this myth, it just says dragon, but it's Sylus. But the reason it doesn't is we'll get to it, because she basically names him.
Right.
We'll get to it, right? They make a deal. Because he's, like, currently got this sword in his chest. He's also been attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I'll rip that out your chest and save your life. If you save mine, right, you get me out of here, I'll help you. Is like, and she like, so she does, like, he takes her to safety, she takes the sword out, and then there's like this weird power soul situation, so it's like black and red mist and also some gold, and it goes into her soul.
Whoa.
Right? He does not like this, but it's like she's now awake, like she must have passed out, and now she's awake on this ledge, and she's in extreme pain because he's like pinned her down. He's trying to like attack her with his big fucking claw thing to get whatever was taken from him into her body back, right? So he's like trying to pull the powers out of her soul basically. But she fights back, she randomly manages to summon this weird sword thing, very important.
Whoa.
And she just plugs it back into his chest. She's like, you know what?
Fuck you.
Exactly. Fuck you. He stumbles back, right? He's like, whoa. He does make a claim. He's like, I'm gonna eat you. Like, he's like, I'm gonna eat you for this. I'm gonna eat your soul. But she reminds him, she's like, nope, actually, because dragons can only eat people's souls that give them up to you. I'm just not gonna do that, so you can't eat my soul, right?
Fail.
But he is determined to get whatever this shit is that went from him into her back. So he's determined. He's like, I'm gonna get this back somehow. But she's also now feeling a bit weird. And this is a direct quote from her in the story. She says, a soul that isn't mine has somehow fused with my own. So they're kind of
Interesting.
bonded in a way, but they don't know that yet. And she can also see, like, because like I said, he's got a powerful eye, right? He can give people visions and whatnot. She can see through, like, whatever powers in his eye, like, visions of him being, like, hunted by, like, a legion of people, like, warriors, and they're, like, shoving all these swords at him, trying to unalive him.
My
right?
God.
So she can basically see, like, the traumatic things he's been through. But she fights this vision, and in the midst of this, he was actually, like, managing to get this out of her, but the minute she comes back to it, it just, like, snaps back into her and just yanks him towards her. So she looks into his eyes again. Why would you? But she does. And she decides that there's something with his eye. There's something about that eye, and she wants it. She's like, I want his eye. Like,
Fair enough.
I'm going to get this man killed. I'm going to take that eye. There's something good with that. I need that. He knows that she saw this, by the way. He just doesn't make it known that he knows. But he knows that she wants his eye. But she makes a deal with him, right? So he doesn't kill her, basically. He makes a deal, telling him that she needs to go to the Ivory City to get revenge on the people that were originally trying to kill her. He knows this is bull. But he's like, I'll entertain this. So he's like, sure, why not? He does end up pushing her because, like, he snapped, like, they're really close together when he got, like, snapped back in. He underestimates his dragon power and he just, like, pushes her and she just flies away basically towards the ledge. He does heal her though. He must heal some bad. But yeah, no, he does just, like, fuck her off. He's like, boom. So here's some background, okay, before the next bit of the story.
Okay.
There is a thing called the Legion of Justitia, whatever, and there's the Sacred Judicator, who apparently was the one that finished off all the dragons in the Dragon War.
Like, killed them all?
Yeah, like,
right.
Think of, like, a brilliant knight, right, okay, that managed to get, like, save the world from whatever, right? Like, 1600 or 1,000 years ago, right? Locking away the last one. Sylus.
Okay.
There's also some background on the sanctuary that's led by them. They took in orphans. Basically, like, took care of them until they got of a certain age and they had their own powers, and then they, like, indoctrinated them into the Legion. So they were basically just taking these orphans to groom them up into being in the Legion, right?
Okay.
Other than her. She must have been in this orphanage. I don't know what it was. When her time came, they threw her into an abyss.
Oh, fail. Okay.
Right.
Bessie's been through it.
So, anyway, protagonist does get Sylus to take her to the sanctuary. And they take out the guards that are there, getting revenge or whatever, but she's got alternative plans, right? This was all just a hoax. Basically, she's bringing him here to get him killed so she can take his eye. But he doesn't know this. Instead, he actually finds a mural on, like, the, like, roof, I guess. Like, think of, like, see, like, all those Italian things you see where they've got, like, the murals. It's like that. And it's basically a mural of, like, the Sacred Judicator depicted as this godlike figure stabbing a dragon.
Well,
which is, it says dragon. Some people have said that it's Sylus, some have just said it's a random dragon, but it is, like, depicted as this really ugly monster. And on it there's, like, this ancient text that only he can read because it's, like, lost to time or whatever. But he reads it and it says that the sacred Judicator is the sole honourable survivor of the Dragon War and restored hope to Philos. Protagonist is like, that sounds like bull, right? At least she's on the same side as, like, us as well.
Yeah.
That sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, that sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, she does believe it to be bullshit. And they do actually have a moment because obviously he's now quite enlightened by the fact that she doesn't believe that. So they have like a kind of moment and they're not at each other's throats. But the Legion has arrived and they're now fucking firing arrows at them. And she's like, great, they're going to kill him now so I can take his eye and get the fuck. Right? That's what she believes. She's like, just see this as our chance. She's like, right, I'm off. So she's going to try to run away. But Silas is like, no. And he uses his power to like puppeteer her to walk behind him.
Oh my god.
Right? What he's actually done has made the Legion attack each other. Right? Instead of him, he somehow managed to make them fight one another, right? So they're all fighting themselves. He's there. She stood behind them. She's now like, I need to make another deal with him because I have kind of just led him into the dragon's den. Lion's den, let's say. And she tells him, I will help you get whatever you want. And he's entertained. He's like, oh, okay. Let's play that game. So he agrees. He wants her soul. He wants her soul, and he knows that she wants his eye. So he's like, let's have some fun with this. Like, he's like toying with her. He just takes off into the sky with her, right? Because he's a dragon, right? He can fly, right? Yeah. He can fly. He just takes off into the sky, and somehow, I'm doing this, levels the fucking sanctuary. Like, that just crumbles. And he takes her to his cave, right? Which is his prison. Because when they get there, she's like, oh, is this your home? And he's like, we don't get homes. What do you think this actually is? And it's like, oh shit, like this is his prison that he's stayed in for thousands of years. Yes, he has been there for thousands of years. But inside the cave, as it's a dragon, there's lots of like treasure, right? There's lots of treasure. There's like gemstones and gold and whatnot. And he goes, pick one. Just take whatever you want. She's most interested in the weapons, but she's confused. She's like, why do you want me to take one? And he goes, why not? Mm-hmm. Because you're also mine now. Right? Yeah. Which honestly...
Getting my hair a wee bit.
But no, she takes interest in the weapons more than anything. She's questioning about all these like random ones. Like there was one that supposedly is supposed to be good at like if you stab like a dragon in the eye or something. But he debunks that. He's like, that's supposed to be able to take out my eye. I can't even clip my nails with it, mate. But there is one, and it is the one from like before. It's like a kind of phantom-y sword. Mm-hmm. She's most interested in this phantom sword from earlier, right? Because it just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and it was also seen in the mural. There's a link, so she's like, okay. What is this? He claims, like, regarding the mural and, like, the god that plunged into the dragon or whatever, he's like, oh, that sacred judicator, whatever the fuck his name is, he was just lucky to get his hands on it and, like, plunge it into his chest, as it's only a true master that can wield it, right? It's just luck.
Yeah.
But now she's like, do I have the power to wield this? I did technically wield this. Mm-hmm. So, like, do I have this power? But he's purposely trying to indulge her. Basically, it's like the idea of like fattening up your prey.
Yeah.
He wants her soul to be so full of greed and desire that when he eventually gets to eat her soul, it's tastier and a worthy meal.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he is a wee bit psycho, but
he is a bit psychotic.
I'm here for it. He holds her in the cave, but he's like kinda not, because like she tries to like attack him, and he's just like haha funny. Like he just like, what do you want? Like headlocks her what? She's like trying to make like a rope to escape the cave, and he's just watching her like like he's not even bothered. He's just toying with her, right? Because he's always a step ahead, and he just watches her try whatever. He does reveal that the day that they leveled the sanctuary became the War of Doomsday.
Whoa!
Basically, that treaty of peace was just broken within a day. Within like all those years of that peace treaty, gone, because he decided to level a fucking building. They still begin to like get to know each other. I mean, she's basically held with him now. They do kind of get to know each other, even though he's still like, why are you here? But like, I know why you're here. He does try to teach her his name in like this weird like,
language.
Yeah, it's a weird language. She can't pronounce it, but it's like, she says it's stylus. And she basically goes, I can't pronounce that, so can I just call you something similar, like Sylus? Which is interesting, because then he keeps that name for every other timeline. She named him Sylus.
We love that.
He's basically just like, you call me whatever you want, I might not answer. That's literally what he says. He's like, call me what you want, I don't care. But see, throughout the nights under his capture, she's having like these continuous nightmares. Like, seeing his life, somehow, maybe it's through the soul, but she's seen his life before they met, and he's like constantly being like abused and attacked by legions and whatnot. At this point, right, they've been with each other long enough, they've built a rapport, right? They're companions, if you will. Like, they say that they've got a companionship going, and they stay together. She's now willingly staying with him.
Right.
She's like, I'm going to stay with you. And at night, they go out and raid together. They're pillaging, right? They're fucking... They do have a cute moment in a field, but this is something people theorise this might be a dream or it might have happened. They do have a cute moment in a field where they do kind of express their love for each other. They're like rolling through the field and like she puts like flowers on him and he's like, you're the only person that's allowed to touch me. Other than this flower, you're the only person that's allowed to touch me here.
Shut up!
They have a little kiss, it's all cute. This is not going to be a nice ending, Caitlin.
Oh god.
Because the dragon's curse has always been that a dragon will kill his beloved. But Sylus doesn't want this.
Yeah.
So...
Does he kill himself?
He does.
Ah!
Instead of him killing her, he wants to break the curse a different way, but he can't. So, with the sword in her hands, he plunges it into himself, thinking... She thought she was going to die. She thought like this was her fate. Mm-hmm. But no, he kills himself instead. She goes off. She has lost the love of her life. He has died. Straight up died. She is a sorceress, remember. So as he's passing away, she curses him with her soul. She says, basically, cursing him, his soul will never fade away. Only she can grant him his true death.
Oh god.
And this is why we think that the Sylus that comes back later already knows who she is, because he remembers her, because he didn't fucking die.
Right.
Well, at least she thought he died. Or maybe he did, but then he came back.
Yeah.
And he's remembering because he's not allowed to die. If it's not from his beloved, he's not allowed to die.
Oh.
Which leads us to now.
Okay.
There was another one, but like I said, I don't think it's that important. If it is, please put it down below and I'll look into it. So, going back, right? Remember she had that chat with Xavier? Mm-hmm. She's going into the N109 zone, right? It's a dangerous fucking place, right? There's no rules. It's all dodgy, shady people, but she's going in. She goes in, and she does encounter him for the first time. He actually technically saves her life, because she goes in there, and a random bloke dressed in black attacks her, and he steps in and just incinerates this guy to like dust. Oh. He's like, no.
God's sake.
Now, it is said that throughout their story, he does recognise her. So like everyone that doesn't know his myth thinks that he's constantly looking at her with anger. It's her that she doesn't remember him.
Oh.
He remembers her and the love they had. She doesn't remember, and it's hurting his soul, right? He's basically hurting. Because she somehow recognises his voice when he first talks. And like, see, looking into her eyes, like she's hearing this voice in her head, and it's like, devour him, gain the power that you've always wanted and whatnot. And she's somehow recognising him. And he also tells her just before she passes out, they're kindred spirits. He's basically giving hints. You know me. I know you. We're connected. But like, he can't explicitly tell her. So she's just like, what the fuck does that mean? She passes out. She wakes up in his mansion. The next 3 days in his mansion is basically like, Sylus is trying to get her to come round to him, right? He wants to resonate with her, which is like a weird like linkage of powers or whatever. They keep failing, and he's not understanding why. So he takes her to like this guy called Philip, or Dr. Philip, or whatever, he who worked with her grandmother. But by the way, during this whole time, she kind of hates him because she believes that Onakainus, the group that he leads, is the reason that her house blew up and killed her grandma and Caleb.
Right.
So that's why she's angry at him, because she's in believing that he did that. So I have missed the whole section, right, before this.
Oh, yeah.
In the mansion, when he's talking to her, he does taunt her.
Right.
Like, he does taunt her with a gun, because she keeps like claiming like she hates him, she's gonna kill him. He gives her a gun, press it against his chest and go for it. Do it. Right? She hesitates. He goes boom and shoots himself, but he can heal, so he's fine, right? Technically, also she didn't kill him, so like he can come back. She's like, what the fuck? Right? Obviously, you'd be like, what the fuck? But he's fine, right? He just regenerates. He's like, yep, You want to kill me? Try. You can. But he's getting more frustrated. He can't resonate with the love of his life. That he doesn't remember him. So yeah, takes her to Philip, who owns like a little workshop, had connections to her grandma, whatever. But he's basically wanting to make her like the first live subject for like a linkage alteration, which means that they resonate, right?
Yeah.
So he's trying to get to resonate with them.
Okay.
But they can't. And during this conversation though, because there's a conversation between Silas and or whatnot, she overhears that they're not the reason that house blew up. So now she's like, oh, maybe I should stop hating this fucker so much. Like, not that he didn't kidnap me and he's trying to do this weird resonating thing, like that's still a bit dodge, but he didn't kill the people I love. She gets analysed by this doctor, and this scene is actually quite hard because you can see the pain in his eyes.
Oh.
The doctor basically says the reason that she isn't resonating with him, she's subconsciously rejecting him because she's either scared of him, disgusted by him, or she is rejecting him. And you can see in his face that he's hurting when he hears that. But to resonate with him, she can't hold any hostility towards him, but she does right now. Again, frustrated in this part of the story, he just leaves her in the N109 stone. He's like, right, go, leave, go and do your own thing. There's more to his actual story, but it's more so just like they do eventually end up resonating, like they do grow kind of companionship-ish. Well, they did resonate, but I think they kind of broke it off because they were like almost like a magical like pull thing to their wrist, like they were attached. And it's quite funny because he's like, she's like, what we're gonna do? And he's like, I'm gonna chop it off. And she's like, I don't think we can break this. He's like, no, your hands. I'm gonna chop off your hands. I just love Silas. His is the most heartbreaking because
He's so pretty.
he is so pretty. And see, before he was talking about how like dragons don't get to fall in love with humans, but she showed him human love. I'll show you his monologue, right? You will cry. You will cry. His whole monologue is heartbreaking because he just talks about how for the first time ever he felt loved. And then also he had to give himself up. He had to sacrifice himself for her. Now the last one's not very long because this character came out a month ago.
Okay.
That would be Caleb.
This is the one Caleb keeps talking about.
Yeah, so I was a Silas girly, and then I kind of got to know Caleb a bit more, and I was like, now I'm torn. So who knows what kind of girly I'm now.
I don't know who any of these people are up until now. And Caitlin would constantly send me TikToks and be like, why is Caleb here? Why is Caleb stalking me? Why is Caleb?
Yeah. It kind of, you just slowly creeped in.
And I'm like, girlie, you're sending me Caleb edits, so that's why he's still here. Damn.
Yeah. So, he's 25. He's 6'2", 6'2", like, as in the same height as Silas. He is a Gemini, born June, which, by the way, Gemini is interesting about the personality switching thing.
Yeah.
Are they not saved to have, different... Yeah. He is a DEEPSPACE Aviation Administration fighter pilot, originally, when he wasn't a love interest. So this is, when he was just in the story before he blew up. When he comes back, he is part of the First Space Fleet's... is it Colonel? Colonel.
Yeah, Colonel.
He's a colonel, right? So he's, not quite captain, but he's a colonel, right? He's important.
Okay.
His whole power is gravity manipulation, which I think is quite cool. You still can't win the fucking claw machine with me. Yeah. So before he was a love interest, when he was just introduced as a side character, he was very kind and playful, tolerant. He just teased her, clearly like a best friend would, right? When he comes back, he is possessive, obsessive. He's a bit cold. Very respected by his peers, though.
A little cray-cray.
No, he has a little cray-cray. Believing that he's literally the only one that can keep her safe, but this is maybe because of what he watched that he made her forget.
Right.
Or, wiped her memory off. So she's not aware of the things that he has witnessed happen to her. Mm-hmm. So he has become a wee bit, insane, but... it does go to lengths such as tying her to him or locking her in a room.
Whoa.
Hear me out.
Oh no.
I would be okay with that with him. If I'm sorry, you know how you see all the things. If you ever seen me being manipulated by this 6'2" colonel, right? Don't save
just know
me.
she's fine, right?
I'm fine. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Just leave me to do it. Am I okay?
I don't think so.
But a little bit about him. He is her personal chef, basically. He's an amazing cook. I think it says his specialty is braised chicken wings or something. Or pork or something. Sounds fucking amazing. He doesn't like to show her his weaknesses because she needs him to rely on him. and she feels like if he shows her weakness, she won't.
Right.
So even if he's ill, he'll lock himself away so she doesn't know. Like, he doesn't show her weakness.
God.
He was a basketball player in high school, and MC was his biggest fan.
Whoop whoop.
Biggest fan. He does spend every single New Year with her. And by the way, see, a lot of these are her notes, and she put, that will never change, right?
Aww.
So even she's like, he is important to her, right? Very. He was a valedictorian, of course. And
They're all smart.
I don't know why, he just hates cilantro. Which, if I'm
Fair
right,
enough.
what is our version of cilantro?
Coriander?
Coriander?
I think so.
Or something like that?
I think it's something
Right.
like
Cilantro isn't really a word that we use.
that. Yeah.
He also just has random fucking knowledge and like random facts or Jurassic era Beatles. He's a bit of a loser. I kind of like it. He is a wee bit of a loser, and I'm like, I like it. Oh fuck.
Oh!
So I put lower question mark because there's not much so far
Okay.
based on the fact that he is
Yeah.
new. We
Right.
don't have like a myth per se, so it's more so theories about who he is. So previously to become
I
the
like
love
that
interest.
outfit.
Yes, this is like the outfit we see him in without guns. He wasn't like that when he first came in. He's just introduced as a minor character. He's MC's childhood friend. He's completely yearning and in love with her, and I mean simping
We love that.
hard. But he's not being pushy with it. You can just see the way he looks at her. He visits her and her grandma from time to time when he's like not busy on his like job. So if he's got like no time, well, he's got no time. If he's got time, and he's not on a mission, he'll come back and visit. I want to make something so clear right now, because there's a lot of arguing, and I think you will understand where I'm coming from with this. There's a lot of arguing about Caleb in the terms of, now you're allowed your opinion, but because this is a Chinese game, it's made in China. In the original version, which must not have got translated properly, you know how in Korea, with honorifics,
Yes.
does not mean it's your actual brother,
Yes.
but you would say like Hyung or Oppa.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like the Korean version of Oppa. No, the Chinese version
Go-go.
of Oppa.
Go.
Yeah, that. Because she calls him like some
know
nickname
something.
with it, right? So it's not her actual brother. I get what the Western side are saying.
Yeah.
The fact that they were technically raised together with the same grandma.
Yeah.
They are not actually related. They were brought in by this grandma character, and he... Like, they feel more like friends than anything, but yeah, I get it. Like, they were raised together. It's like a brotherly relationship, but like also at the same time, it's not. This whole idea of her being, like, him being her brother is a miscommunication of the fact that the Chinese version wasn't translated completely correctly, and they use that honorific. Does not mean it's your actual brother, it's just a way of being, like, respectful
Yeah.
of your elders or whatever. I just want to make that, because like there's fighting going on online.
Oh, God.
And you're allowed your opinion on it whatever way, but I feel like the Westernized side are completely disregarding Chinese culture. Chinese side are also like arguing with the Western side. We're all allowed our own opinion. I do not think there's anything wrong with this.
Okay.
Because he is not her brother.
Okay.
He is not blood related, okay? I get it. Everyone's like the dynamic though.
Yeah.
Fuck up. Not interested, personally. Anyway, on this occasion, he has now visited. They're having dinner together. She gets like a little thing on her watch saying that there's wanderers about. So she's like, oh, I need to head out real quick and pick something up. And he's like, I'm coming with you. Right? He's going to investigate with her. She tries to keep him away. But she goes after, like, I think it was like a random guy or something was kind of like almost stalking her, or like was dodgy. So she chased after him, ended up getting hurt. He comes to her rescue basically and is like, yeah, what happened here? She lied. She's like, it's a cat scratch or whatever. And he's like, okay. At least clean the blood up before you get in. Like, and don't worry, like, your grandma, right? Or like grandma, whatever. Upon returning to the house, they had a wee bit of like an argument about this. He walks in, closes the door behind him, boom. Grandma and Caleb are presumed dead, and that is what she believes.
Okay.
She's now under the impression that he is dead. This is not the case. Because then came last month, and he came back from the dead. Right? So, there's another explosion going on in, like, the area that he is. Because, like, he's very, like, see all your aviation, like, spaceship kind of vibe. It's a place called Skyhaven, right? There's another explosion there, so she's like, I'm going to go and investigate this. It's like her job, right? She's basically like an investigator kind of situation. She goes there. She gets found out that her identity she's using is wrong. I wonder why that would be. She gets taken and she wakes up in an interrogation room
Whoa.
being interrogated by Caleb.
Oh.
But she's almost like, is that Caleb? I mean, he's meant to be dead, right? Yeah. And he's denying who it is, because she's like, do I know you? And he's like, no. She's like, you look like someone I know, and he's like, watch your fucking mouth. Like, no. Right? So he's acting so fucking sketchy, because he's claiming that he doesn't know her. After the investigation, he's like, oh, hi, it's me. And she's like, what the fuck? But I guess, like, they still have their moments. You know what I mean? Like, they have their moments together, because she has believed that he's dead. They have an emotional moment, because obviously her best friend is alive. But he's acting weird. Like, a bit weirder than usual. Like, people are theorising it's due to a torn chip.
Oh.
So, when he got into that explosion...
I don't know what that means.
I'll explain it. Don't worry, I'm explaining it. When he got into that explosion, it must have been around, like, there's... Like I said, we don't have all the pieces to put. But we obviously know that he did become the Colonel. And it's linked to his whole, like... I think it's the Ever group that he's under. They're actually a bit dodgy, I think, and they're putting these chips in people's minds that basically suppresses your emotions, makes you forget like memories and whatnot.
Said Elon question mark.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? Actually,
please
Elon,
don't come for me.
Don't come for us.
I don't want to have my brain.
But yeah, no, it's like suppressing people's emotions and their memories and whatnot, and they believe it's in his head, so it's in his, but he's trying to fight it.
Right.
So when he sees her, he's still trying to be him. Like, he is still trying to be, like, affectionate and her best friend. But what it's theorised, and there's another aspect of the game that kind of shows this, anytime they get kind of affectionate, the chip rewires and brings him back to being cold again. That's why he's switching so quickly. So people think that that's maybe what's going on with him, why he's acting so, like, cold one minute, then he's smiling at her, then he's back to being cold again. Like, it's fucking her up. And she's like, what is going on with my friend? He's not like this. Could be because there's a chip in his brain. Not the only change to him. He lost an arm. He now has a bionic arm, which I think is quite cool. I think it's quite cool.
Fair.
But yeah, no, this might... I'm not to say, though, that this possessive and obsessive behaviour isn't actually also who he originally was. Maybe he's just better at hiding it, but now he's not. And people think this has got to do with the fact that when they were children, he witnessed her get experimented on. But he wiped her memory, so she never... Or someone wiped her memory. I don't know if it was him or whatever. But he made sure she never remembered any of it. But he witnessed it. He's protective. He's always been her protector. He promised that he always would be. So he doesn't trust anybody to not to hurt her. So he believes, even if it's making him go a wee bit crazy, even if it's making him a wee bit insane, he believes the only person she is truly safe with is him.
Right.
And that he needs to be the one standing in front of her all the time. Which honestly,
kind of cute.
Works on me. So yeah, it is possible that this part of his personality is actually who he always was. It's just now amplified because he's like cautious for her safety. He's acting more possessive. He's going to extreme measures, like kind of a grey flag situation. She was sick, and she was investigating something that he's involved in, which is a little shady. It gives her like cold medicine, and it does kind of just like knock her out. Like not like knock out as in like she was drugged. Yeah. Well, she kind of was. More like, you know how you get sleepy and you just fall asleep. Because she was meant to go and like investigate something with Zayne, slept through it.
Oh god.
Also, like her door has been locked a few times, like because she's living in his house. Yeah, just to stop her investigating his shady business, because he also doesn't want to let her down.
Damn.
But he's been used. I think he's a pawn in some bigger one's game, right?
Right.
Is it his natural nature? Probably, right? There's also a link for his potential future, because he's linked to an apple and snakes, so people think it has something to do with the Garden of Eden. So maybe he has got one myth card, right? It's not got a lot of lore. There's not like a different timeline as far as I'm aware. Basically, it's just like they're showing some fucking affection towards her. She's like questioning him, like, what's happened to my Caleb. She also, like, he's looking at her like she's the fucking apple of his eyes. Yeah. I'll get to that about it. He's looking at her eyes like she's like the only thing that matters. Like, honestly, the way he looks at her, they've not had like a kiss scene, they've not had any kind of like intimate scene, but see the way he just looks at her is more intimate than any other card. Like, he is yearning for her. She just gets on top of him and And by the way, can I say he restrained himself, because see if you've been yearning after someone for that long to get on top of you, you'd break. He didn't. But he did make her forget all of that. But whether she actually forgot or not is still up for debate. Yeah, I'd cave. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'd cave.
He is sickly yelling for her. I'd cave. Stop the Caleb hate.
Stop Caleb hate, guys. Stop it. He's not this heartless monster everyone thinks he is, right? So, here's my boy. We're gonna wrap up. Overall, we need more information on Caleb. He's only been out a month, I get it. Whatever. There's lots of theories on these myths, like, is Caleb Astra? Some people say maybe that's his different timeline. Or is Astra the sixth love interest? Who is the sixth love interest? And is it linked to Raphael? Because Xavier is linked to Sylus. Zayne is linked to Caleb. Who is Raphael linked to? So
interesting.
But hopefully we find out more as we go. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Fictional men on top of me.
And I thought I would just leave this off with I love this.
R.I.P. Caleb.
Yeah, I thought I'd leave it off with this.
Damn.
By the way, this picture, can I just add? This is an actual thing that happened. I think it was in reference to that Barry Allen meme, but it literally does say, like, he goes to visit his own grave and he does get down with the peace sign for her to take a picture. So, like... But yes.
Oh, I love that.
Oh no, don't play again. From listening to the story, how do you feel?
Girlie's been through it.
Girlie has... But then again, it's like different versions.
Yeah, I mean,
depends
she
on how
doesn't
much
remember
she knows.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I feel like you can see throughout that video me progressively like, what the fuck is happening? How do I remember all this shit?
In Caleb's defense, people, right? Listen to me here right now. Listen. Every single love interest bar Caleb has some kind of other versions of her that she has been like that he's loved, right? Mm-hmm. So every other one of them, Zayne, Xavier, whoever, other than Caleb, have fallen in love with a different version of her. Now I'm not saying that doesn't mean that they love her any less in the current version, but can I just say the current MC is Caleb's, basically. That's his love. He doesn't care for any like sorceress or like queen, whatever. He doesn't give a fuck. He loves her.
Yeah.
Whereas the others have got past ones or future relationships with. Yeah. So can we just keep that in mind, that they're all in love and have been in love with different versions of her, whereas the version she is now is all that matters to Caleb. Yeah. Can we stop the hate, please? Please. You don't need to like him as a love interest if you don't want to like him as a love interest, but stop being so fucking mean.
Caleb feels very passionately about this.
I will protect this man until I die.
That's fictional, man.
I'm a Caleb defender until I die. Do you have a potential favourite?
I think so. Okay, go ahead. I want you to try and guess what it was. This is... Again, this is just right now who I think my favourite would be. Right.
I'm going to do process of elimination. Not Caleb.
No.
Not Xavier.
Sorry.
I don't think it's Sylus. So it's between Zayne and Raphael. Oh my god, this is so Zayne? Is it Raph?
I think it's Raph.
Can I just say, Raphael girlies are the least problematic.
Sylus thank God.
Sylus girlies, like, listen, I'm one of you. Kinda. I'm like half one of you, half a Caleb girly. But Sylus girlies, they insert themselves into everything, and everything has to be about Sylus, and they just... They're like the army. Or the blinks. Oh, don't come for me. Do not come for me. But they are like the army, the blinks of this community. But generally speaking, I'm excited for the future and the sixth love interest. Hopefully we don't get that for a while. Though Caleb did just come out.
Yeah.
I need more information on him. More storylines, please. On Sylus too. He had like one like storyline and that was it. So if you're also interested in the game, add me. I'll tell you about whatever you want. There's other things to do in it, by the way. It's not just a storyline, and you can fight. You can take little photos with them. You can play like claw machine games. You can unlock cards. Like the whole point is like it's kind of gacha game in a way where you like have to pull, or like it's kind of gambling for different cards. Those cards give you special like scenes. Some of them are a bit lip bite. You know what I mean? Lip bite. Some of them are a little lip bite. But no, I'm really enjoying this game. So if you have any information, hit me up. I'll I'll play with somebody.
But that is it for this video, I think.
That is it for the lore. I'm hoping I didn't miss
If
much.
you guys want to comment below any other topics you would like us to teach each other, that can definitely happen. Even if we don't know the topics, one is well learn that. We'll teach each other. But that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn notifications so you get notified every single time I upload. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Good night, baby. I love you.
Fictional men on top of me.